Hi everybody, so you found yourself with an English as a second language learner in your mainstream class. You are not trained to teach ESL students. What are you going to do? Here are a few tips to help you. Okay, so the first thing that you need to remember throughout this is that you've got to empathize with that student. They're in a strange country, surrounded by English speakers. They might not be able to understand a whole lot of that, and the whole thing is just completely overwhelming. So if you can put something simple in front of them, something that will keep them busy, in a meaningful way, that's going to be great. So empathy, that is tip number one. Tip number two, keep everything simple. So simple vocabulary and simple sentences. So maybe go by the rule of thumb where you have, say, 5 words in a sentence. The cat sat would be probably enough on the mat. Okay, that's 6. Something like that, really simple sentences. Short paragraphs as well, sort of 1 sentence paragraphs. Number 3 is you can check the levels of your text quite easily if you've got the time. But here is a tip if you're not quite sure. So you're giving a text to a student. What you can do is get them to read it to you. Every time they stumble, and can't read the word, or they can't read the word at all, count it on a finger. So just, be discreet under your desk kind of thing. If they get to 5, then that text is way too hard for that student. If there's no stumbling, maybe it's a little easy and you're not challenging them. So baby bear's porridge is where you have sort of 2 or 3 stumbles. Okay, so that's a nice easy way to 5-finger fix it or something like that, you can call it. You can use that for any student actually, not just ESL. The next one is for scaffolding. So how can you scaffold a student? So build them up and show them how to progress. Of course, numbered steps. So here are some sheets here. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, nice big numbers. The other thing you can do is get them to look at vocabulary first. So pick out the words that you think might be a bit difficult and get them to find the definitions of those first, or maybe get them to highlight the words that they don't understand in a text and they can find definitions for those. The other thing is tables and graphic organizers are great for helping scaffold. So here I've got tables that set things out in tables to make it easy for students. What else have we got here? So this one here filled out. Again, you can see the numbers and more tables and tick boxes, things like that just help to scaffold them through and build on their progress. Number 5 is graphics. Graphics are so important. Part of that is white space, so don't clutter your worksheets. So here I've got graphics obviously about the text itself, but also I'm showing them that I want them to tick yes or no. So rather than just have the words yes or no, I've got a little thumbs up and thumbs down. What else have we got here? So here I want the students to create pictures here. So I've got a little picture there next to the word picture. Here they've got to do a translation, so I've got a little picture of a dictionary. Just things like that can help them through. This one is a set of instructions, and on this side I've got, again, graphics, pictures to help them understand those instructions. So graphics all the way. Remember, a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? The other thing to remember is that, assuming you're a high school student, a teacher, they are not babies. So don't go making the mistake of, because you're using simple language, you're putting in baby pictures. So try to keep graphics teen-centered. So here I've got these kind of graphics here of teenagers. So keep it age appropriate. The next, number six, offer choice. So that's with levels, but also activities. So this one here's a choice board. Again, you can see those graphics as I mentioned before with this one. The graphics are teen appropriate and helpful, but there's choice there. So, and I would say, you know, choose 3 of these or something like that. So they're not so intimidated and they can find something that they can understand. And again, this one here, so this is differentiation. So walk fit, yoga fit, CrossFit. You could make it simpler if you like. You can do must, should, could, but then they've got to know modals. So just have a think about doing that as well. That's a bit of extension for you as much as anything, I guess, because you're having to offer a bit more. The next thing, opportunities to interact with classmates. They don't get a lot of that in class, so you could get them to discuss their answers with a student from the class. You could get them to ask students from their class particular questions and things like that. This is a meet a classmate worksheet, so they actually have to go and talk to a classmate. And you might have some kids in your class that would be quite good at interacting with your ESL students, so maybe you could prep them first. So that's a thing. The other thing is get them to work on paper, so print your worksheets off rather than giving them to them digitally. It's so much easier for these students to work on paper, and then they can scribble their translations and things on them as well, and it just gives them that little bit extra engagement as well. You can also check how they are going. Usually when I've had ESL students in my class, I'll say, are you okay? You're okay? And they go, yeah, okay. And then I thought, I don't think they are okay. So I created some little cards and I get them to point to which one they are. And quite often they'll point to the red one, like help. So things like that are good. I've got other ones that are just the graphics and they're quite clear emoji faces, like panic and very happy. So those work really well because they will say, yeah, I'm okay, and then they'll point to the panic face. Okay, so don't be fooled when they say they're okay. And the other thing is, once you've got your templates all set up, keep them on your desktop. So recently I had a Japanese boy in my class for a few weeks and I knew I had my worksheet templates there, but I have so many files on my computer, and in the mad rush I just literally, I don't know, couldn't find time, maybe couldn't be bothered, actually going through, or I was intimidated by the fact that I had to search through everything to try and find these worksheets, whereas if I had them on my desktop, I just got it, clicked on them, filled in a few gaps, and then that worksheet would be done for that student, printed off, sorted, guilt-free. So that's 10 tips now that might help you cater to the ESL student in your class. I have worksheets like the ones that I showed you available on my website. I'll link them down below, and I've also got these cards as well that are available. I'll link those down below. So hopefully though those 10 tips help you cater to your ESL student. Enjoy.